Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at a brand new Nanmu figure. It's always a great day anytime we get a new Nanmu figure to take a look at. And as you can quite obviously tell, this is their Ceratosaurus. Of course, we have both different versions here to take a look at. And you can see the artwork is pretty much the same on the box, just kind of flipped. So really psyched. I love Ceratosaurus. Ceratosaurus is definitely one of my favorite theropods. So I'm incredibly excited to get a look at this. So let's go ahead and break them out of the boxes right now. So straight away, we have the awesome art card that is always included with the Nanmu figures, and you can see some beautiful images here, drawn images of the Ceratosaurus itself, and I love this side of the card continuously because I just really like those kind of hand-drawn look to the images. I just love these. But once we flip it around, we also have an image of, and it's a little hard to see because the stupid glare keeps kind of shining it away, but you can see a really cool image of the Ceratosaurus kind of stalking someone at a campfire through the night, and they're kind of, I guess, trying to scare off the Ceratosaurus by using a torch, and that looks insanely awesome. I love the look of the art card here. Both sides, of course, are awesome, but this image here itself is just incredibly cool. And then we have the little extras, which this time is not a human character. You can see it is a shark. They are actually two different versions as far as the paintwork goes. You can see that both sharks are a little bit different than the previous version as far as the paintwork goes, so that's pretty exciting. I do quite like that, and this is the first time I think that we've had a Nanmu release that didn't come with a human figure. If I can recall correctly, I think every other time we've had that human figure, but this time we now have a shark. And then we have the Ceratosaurus itself, so here's the kind of alternate version, and then the more main version, I guess you could say, the Jurassic Park 3 version. And as always, when it comes to a Nanmu figure, these look insanely nice here at first glance. I am absolutely continuously blown away by just how beautiful the Nanmu product always is, but I was really psyched for these Ceratosaurus figures because I love the fact that they've kind of taken more of an accurate look of the Ceratosaurus and then given it the kind of Jurassic Park 3 paint scheme and then that really cool alternate paint scheme. As most times they sort of model their dinosaurs after the Jurassic World franchise, this time the Ceratosaurus actually was not modeled after the Jurassic World, or well, I guess I should say Jurassic Park 3 version. Has more of like an accurate look to the Ceratosaurus, but really nice looking. You can see both figures do have a base. Both figures are currently on their bases, so we'll take them off, get a closer look at both of these right now. So I've actually chosen to just leave them on the bases while we take a look at them. That way we can take a quick look at the base while it's here, but we'll start with the kind of alternate version here from Nanmu, and you can see that as far as the sculpt and detail goes, it is incredible, absolutely incredible up here on the head sculpt of the Ceratosaurus. There's just so much beautiful skin texture and really beautiful scale detail on the face that it is honestly mind-blowing. You can see a lot of really nice color variation as well. Of course, we have an articulated jaw. I love that you can kind of see like a white wash that kind of brings the scales out here on the lower jaw. I really like that, and it transitions nicely to a brown coloration here on the lower half of the lower jaw, but you can also see quite a bit of paint variation up here on the upper side of the head of the Ceratosaurus. Gorgeous detail there around the eye. The eye is painted with a green and a nice black pupil, and you can see, if my camera would actually focus, because now it's choosing not to, but you can see it shine and glisten really nicely, very realistically, like a real dinosaur's eye would. You can see the inside of the mouth sports a gorgeous sculpt as far as the detail there, the textured area here on the inside of the mouth. Actually, you can see now that I've opened it too far, it looks like it disconnects. Right about there, I think, is a pretty good length for it, but you can also see again that the coloration on the inside of the mouth is really beautifully done as well. You can see the tongue in there. Really nice textured appearance to the tongue, if my camera would focus on it. The teeth, as always, look incredible. First of all, the sculpting of the teeth is just gorgeous, but the actual paint that they use, almost giving them that translucent type of a look a little bit, but they honestly look just so perfectly real. It is ridiculous. So insanely well done here on the part of Nanmu. Those teeth look just perfect as far as I'm concerned, and I love that the coloration is kind of like an off-white, almost heading toward like a brown, a very realistic coloration, I think, for what the inside of the mouth of a Ceratosaurus would probably look like. And you can see the crests up here on the top of the Ceratosaurus are very nicely done. Really nice paintwork as well with a brown that we have up there on the top of the head. You can see the scale detail on the top of the head looks ridiculously nice. Coming down here into the neck, you can start to see some ridges leading down the neck of the dinosaur. Lots of really nice creasing in the skin of the Ceratosaurus. As we move down the neck, you do have a little bit of hanging skin here in the throat. Some more really nice skin detail here in the throat region of the Ceratosaurus, and some really nice coloration included as well. Coming down into the body, you can see kind of like some osteoderms that run down the course of the body. You can see the shoulder blade a little bit right there. The arm sculpt looks incredible. It's nice and like in toward the body. It's a very realistic position, I think, for the arm sculpt of the dinosaur. Very nice scale detail as we lead down the arm into the hand. The hand looks great. You have like a scoot-like appearance down the fingers. Some very nicely painted nails with a black, and they do shine quite realistically as well. Coming back up into the body, the skin texture is insanely well done, and all the paintwork is just really perfectly applied. It all looks very nice and natural, the way that Nanmu has applied the paintwork on the Ceratosaurus. It's very, very realistic overall. You can see how the skin is stretching off of the body right here with this leg pulling the skin back. That is some very nice attention to detail on the part of Nanmu. Again, the skin texture all throughout the stomach is just off the charts insane as far as how good it looks. More osteoderms running down the course of the body. Again, those ridges that run along the spinal column look great as well. And they have done a great job of really kind of giving it like that light wash so that the detail pops really nicely. You could see just like that light wash kind of creeping through all of the cracks and crevices on the dinosaur. As we move down the leg, you can see the hip bone here, but once we move down the leg, you can see a bunch of osteoderms and scoots that run down the front of the leg of the Ceratosaurus. Really nice musculature in both the thigh and calf region. I love the creases there in the back of the knee as this leg is pushing up really nicely, folding and bending all the skin right there. You have the kneecap right there in the front. Beautiful detail as we lead down the front of the leg here. That looks great. Actually, I'm going to take it off of the base, even though I said I wasn't going to, but it'll give us a better look at the front of that leg. So you can see now how insanely nice looking that is. Beautiful sculpt down the leg, beautiful paintwork, and then you have that really nice foot sculpt here of the Ceratosaurus with the very nicely painted nails. The nails are perfectly painted. Again, there is no sloppiness that I can see anywhere on this figure, and it really, really looks good. You have the dew claw right there. Beautiful curve in the foot as it's running along. Some more really nice skin detail up here as we lead back up into the tail. And then we lead out the length of the tail, and you can see that that paintwork continues to look really nice. You almost have like a grayish blue kind of spotting and designing going on. Very nice curve to the tail as well. It curves up and then down, and then also a little bit to its right, which looks really cool, and the skin texture looks phenomenal the whole way out. Looking over here at this side, again, the skin detail looks great all over the place here in the neck region. Very nice skin detail here hanging down in the throat as well. The arm sculpt looks really good over here, and again, that like white wash or lighter wash has brought the detail out perfectly. You can see it really nicely shining through with like the scoots of the fingers right there. That looks great. Very nice creasing again in the elbow. You actually can see the elbow a little bit right there. The skin texture continues to look phenomenal here in the stomach, and you could just see like different tones of color. Like there's like almost like a tan and then a version of brown and everything included in there. Nanmu is just doing such a great job here on the Ceratosaurus figures as far as the paintwork goes. It's pretty much off the charts. You can see the really nice sculpt and detail here in the leg. Again, the hip bone right there, but as you move down into the leg, you have all those scoots and osteoderms and everything running down the front of the leg. You have the very nice musculature perfectly displayed on this side as well. Very nice big bulging calf muscle, which should be shining through the way it is because currently the Ceratosaurus is putting all of its weight down on this leg, so that makes 100% sense that would really be flexing the leg muscle right there. I love the way that the front of the leg looks here with that kind of like almost a crocodilian type look to the skin texture as it moves down the front of the leg into the foot, and the foot looks great. Again, very nicely painted nails. And then moving back up into the tail, you can see the skin stretching off of the body very nicely right there. Again, beautiful paint application the whole way out. It looks really, really nice in every area of this Ceratosaurus. So the limited version, or the alternate version, I guess you could say, is awesome as far as the paintwork goes. And then we have the base for the alternate Ceratosaurus, and you can see it's just a really cool earthy look to it, a very nice earthy texture to the base itself. It's really beautifully painted. You have some rocks showing up here and there, a very big rock right here, smaller one right there. It looks really good. You can see the footprint, of course, of the Ceratosaurus with the peg sticking up so that you can place your Ceratosaurus on there. And then the underside does say Scavenger and has the Nanmu logo and all that fun stuff. Very nice, very professional look to the underside of the base. But the base itself has some really, really nice sculpt and detail to it. Very highly detailed, and a very highly detailed paint scheme as well, or paint application. Very beautiful paint application with lots of different tones of color to it. And then once we get to the kind of more main version, I guess you could say, of the Ceratosaurus, now that we've actually gone over the sculpt, we don't need to do that on this one. We could just see what's different on this one, which would be the paint application. First of all, the eyes look really cool. You can see them right there. They're very highly detailed as far as the eyes go, which is one thing that I continuously find extremely impressive about Nanmu, is just how detailed their eyes look on their figures. And you can see that this one is just absolutely beautiful as far as the eye goes. Let's take a look at the opposing eye. So same detail. As far as the eyes on the figures go, I feel like Nanmu may potentially have the best eye appearance on their models, more so than anyone else. They just do a great job as far as that goes, and those eyes look, again, just picture perfect and beautiful. You can see that the crests on this one have a very nice kind of a lighter brown to them. They look very good as far as that goes. And then, of course, the head has a very nice reddish coloration, a very dark red, but you can see a few different tones of red included. So it has quite a nice amount of paint variation to the head right here. And of course, the jaw is articulated, just like the previous one was. You can see the inside of the mouth there, again, sporting a very nice realistic coloration. The teeth look pretty much exactly the same as the previous one did. You have the very nice coloration for the teeth, the very realistic look for the teeth. Everything in there is beautifully glossed on the inside of the mouth of the Ceratosaurus. So it looks super, super realistic for sure. Incredible paintwork all over the figure. I can definitely say that. There is just a lot of different color variation as far as lighter and darker reds up here on the head sculpt of the Ceratosaurus. And then as we start to move down, you can actually even see more of that up here on the top of the head. The jaw actually works really nicely as well. I didn't state that. You can see if you go open it too far, if you go to right about there, but it very nicely articulates to pretty much any length that you would like, so that is definitely a plus. But coming down into the body, again, we see lots of nice variation of red with some stripes. We start to see some black stripes, and then in the body itself, we have like a very nice mixture of like dark yellows and almost like variations of browns and grays throughout. It looks super, super nice the way they've painted this. A very realistic looking paint job for the figure, and I think it overall has many different tones included, which makes it look super realistic as far as the actual paint application goes, which is pretty much something that you always get when it comes to Nanmu and their figures. They always give you pretty much a very realistic look to the figures as far as their paint goes. Again, you see the red continue to run down the back. Those very nice stripes continue to run down the body. You also have some stripes down here on the legs, and they actually continue the whole way down here, down into the feet. Feet have beautifully painted nails, just like we had seen on the previous one. You can really see how nicely glossed they are right there. Very realistically glossed. And then coming back up into the body, again, those stripes continue. They're very nicely applied, very realistically applied with an airbrush, so it looks very smooth as far as the application of the paint goes. And you can see like a mixture of browns and blacks included within those stripes as we lead out the length of the tail. Looking at the opposing side now, again, some more really nice color variation with many different lighter and darker tones included in the stomach region of the Ceratosaurus. You have those stripes again that continue. You even have areas of white showing up in certain spots on the Ceratosaurus, which looks super, super nice on the figure. And then, of course, you lead out the length of the tail. So this Jurassic Park 3 version is just off the charts gorgeous, but then again, so was the other version that we just looked at. This base is exactly the same as the previous base, but we just have a different paint job on it, which you can now see is like a mixture of grays, lighter and darker grays, which does look really, really nice as well. So the Ceratosaurus, this version, is just as insanely beautiful, if not better actually, than the other version. And then, of course, the sharks we have here. The sculpt is the same on the sharks, but you can just see a different paint job included as far as the actual overall appearance to them. I believe this one was with the alternate version, and this one is with the JP3 version, so you have an idea of which shark you would be getting depending on which figure you order. You can even see the insides of the mouths of the sharks are painted. I think the paint looks really nice on the sharks. It's nothing overly amazing, but you're probably not really going to get anything overly amazing on a shark regardless. I think they do look really cool, and they're a super nice extra to have with these Ceratosaurus figures. But these Ceratosaurus overall are absolutely phenomenal in every possible way. And of course, like I stated before, to get the figure to attach to the base, you have a footprint right there. You just have to find the peg hole here on the bottom of the foot, and then you're going to take that peg hole and slide the Ceratosaurus down until his foot is nicely planted within its footprint, and there you go. Your Ceratosaurus is on its base, and it stands really, really nicely. As far as a size goes on the Ceratosaurus, for a length from the tail to the head, you are looking at about 11.5 inches, or about 19, maybe closing in on 19.5 centimeters. And then for a height to the top of the head, about 3 inches, somewhere in that range, or about 7.5, 8 centimeters. And then to the top of the tail, about 4 inches, or about 10 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Nanmu Ceratosaurus figures, and you can definitely see that as far as these Ceratosaurus figures go, they are very, very nicely sized. They're not too small, they're not too big, they're pretty much a perfect size as far as a Ceratosaurus goes. I honestly love the size of them. They are very similar in size to the Allosaurus that Nanmu has released previously, maybe a little bit smaller, I think, than the Allosaurus. For another size comparison, there is the Nanmu Spinosaurus and the Nanmu Berserker Raptor, aka Indoraptor, next to our Ceratosaurus figures here, hopefully helping anybody that is a Nanmu fan to get a good idea further of what the size comparison here of the figures is, and pretty much what the size of the Ceratosaurus is overall, and how they size up in general to other figures from the line. So really, really nicely sized, I would say. So these Nanmu Ceratosaurus figures are fantastic, but honestly, I did not expect any less. Nanmu continuously blows me away with each and every release, and this Ceratosaurus just continues right along that path of giving me yet another unbelievable Nanmu figure to add to my collection. I love the fact straight away that they have bases with these figures, because I always enjoy a base on my figures, and it also allows for a very cool dynamic pose like we have here with the Ceratosaurus just running along. I absolutely love the pose that they've given us here with the Ceratosaurus. It's a very nice, very natural looking pose, as the Ceratosaurus appears to be potentially hunting, maybe running in to grab some sort of prey. And again, I really, really like the pose on the figure, and potentially could be one of the most highly detailed Nanmu figures I've ever seen, as far as really doing a great job with matching up the actual detailing of the body and the way it would be reacting to the movement of the dinosaur and the positioning that it's in. Nanmu has nailed that here with this Ceratosaurus. Not that they haven't done that each and every time so far, but I really, really am very impressed with this release from Nanmu. I think they have done just a phenomenal job on the very fine detailing of the figure, and I think again that they were very smart to release this figure with kind of the Jurassic Park 3 paint scheme, but having a more accurate look to the Ceratosaurus as far as the head sculpt goes, because it kind of appeals to both versions of collectors, because you have the people that kind of like more accurate dinosaurs, then you also have the people that like the Jurassic Park dinosaurs, and you have the best of both worlds here combined into one. So another really good decision, I think, on the part of Nanmu. And as always, the paint jobs of the figures are phenomenal in every way. Both figures are just expertly painted, including so many different tones of color, giving them a super realistic look. Nanmu almost always hammers out a great paint job on their figures, and that is exactly what I see here on these Ceratosaurus figures. I just don't know exactly which one, honestly, I like the most. It's really, really tough on this release. I normally can pick out which one I like the most pretty easily, but these are both so good. It's really, really a tough call on this one. I don't think I could honestly pick a winner as far as which one I like the most on this release, but both I can say are phenomenal. And the fact that you get a really cool little shark included with your figures is always fun. And I also love the fact that Nanmu went a little further with their release of this figure and gave even the sharks a different paint scheme from each other. They really didn't have to do that because it's just a random little extra, but they did, and that shows how much Nanmu cares yet again about their products and their fans. So these Ceratosaurus figures are off the charts awesome, and I highly recommend anybody interested in picking them up right now, because they are, again, incredible. So I will include a link in the description to where you can purchase these on Dan's Dinosaurs. So make sure you check the link in the description. Go buy these unbelievably nice Nanmu Ceratosaurus figures, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.